Tonight, top story in Vatican City, on the verge of history once again, as cardinals and world leaders begin to gather for the historic funeral of Pope Francis and prepare to welcome a new head of the Catholic Church. Striking images, the Pope in his casket in a chapel at his former residence, friends and family paying their respects. We have new details on the funeral service and the American who is now in charge. Plus, the secretive conclave set to begin. Locked inside the Sistine Chapel will be 135 cardinals, one of whom will be the next pope. We have new reporting on the possible frontrunners. Elon Musk stepping back from DOGE after Tesla's earnings plummeted. His announcement late today that he'll spend less time in government. The verdict just in the Lori Vallow Daybell case, convicted of killing her 2 children, now accused of killing her 4th husband. Shannon Sharp recordings released. The woman accusing the Football Hall of Famer of sexual assault releasing a recording. Her lawyers claim is Sharp threatening her. His response tonight. Terrifying close call, the Manhole Explosion, barely missing this woman and 2 children. And man vs. machine, the humanoid robots racing in the Beijing half marathon, some toppling over. Our correspondent is there. So who won? Plus, from here at the Vatican, the gelato shop that served Pope Francis for years. What's the secret to their heavenly recipe? A special edition of Top Story starts right now. And good evening. Welcome to a special edition of Top Story, coming to you tonight from the Vatican as cardinals gather to solidify plans to lay Pope Francis to rest and choose a new leader for the church. Right behind me here is St. Peter's Basilica and St. Peter's Square, one of the most sacred and holiest sites in the world. In just a few hours, the Pope's body will be transferred there to lie in state as worshipers come to pay their respects. The Vatican releasing the first images of the Pope since his death, his body displayed for private viewings inside the chapel where he lived during his papacy. At this hour, we're learning new details about Pope Francis's funeral, which will be held in St. Peter's Square. Tens of thousands are expected to attend, including several notable world leaders, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, along with Prince William, President Emmanuel Macron, and President Volodymyr Zelensky, among others. Pope Francis breaking with tradition, deciding his final resting place will be at the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore. He's the first pope in more than a century, not buried in St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. We hear from an expert tonight on the profound meaning behind this decision. And right now, millions around the world entering a period of mourning, several countries devoting several days to honor the Pope. But tonight, new questions about who will be his successor. Pope Francis appointed 4/5 of the cardinals who will soon cast their vote in the upcoming conclave. Who will they decide on? And what does that mean for the future of the church? We have a lot to get to this evening, starting with the plans to lay Pope Francis to rest. Tonight, the centuries-old tradition of honoring the life of a pontiff and choosing a new one is underway. Cardinals from around the world gathering at the Vatican, where daily meetings began today. In the coming weeks, 135 cardinals under the age of 80 will decide the future of the church, including Cardinal Rolandus Macricas.
Do you want the Pope to modernize the church, or do you want a Pope that is conservative?
I want a Pope who follows gospel.
It's a question many Catholics are now weighing.
You have to search for a new Pope to continue his, what he had started.
As they honor the legacy of Pope Francis, known for his humility and commitment to lifting up the most vulnerable, from his native Argentina to St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York.
For us as Catholics, this is a death in the family.
And here in Rome,
pray for him, pray for the next Pope.
The Vatican today releasing the first images of the cypress coffin chosen by Pope Francis. They show the pontiff lying in the chapel where he worshipped most mornings, wearing red vestments. A rosary is wrapped around his hands, the Swiss guards protecting him. And we're learning new details about how he will be remembered in the coming days. Early tomorrow morning, his body will be moved in a procession to St. Peter's Basilica. From Wednesday to Friday, members of the public will pay their respects as his body lies in state. His coffin won't be elevated, but rather placed facing the pews.
reflecting Pope Francis's desire to be remembered as a shepherd and disciple, not for his powerful position. His funeral is planned for Saturday morning, with several world leaders expected to attend, including President Trump, President Zelensky, and the Prince of Wales.
Pope Francis is going to be buried here?
Yes, he's going to be buried here at Santa Maria Maggiore, the oldest church dedicated to the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Western world.
Art historian Elizabeth Lev says his final resting place holds special meaning.
What he's asked for is something very simple.
Yes, he's asked for a very simple burial spot. So it's not a big chapel, it's not a big monument, but what Pope Francis wants is a very small space right next to this icon of the Madonna Salus Populi Romani. So there's a little alcove, a little space, which is right next to the chapel where that icon was, where he has prayed so many times.
According to tradition, he will be buried with a small bag of coins minted during his papacy to aid in future identification. The fisherman's ring he wore, now broken, a ritual signifying his death. It will be buried with him. And his tomb will have just one word, Franciscus. Yet another reflection of the humble nature of Pope Francis.
I'm joined now by Ann Thompson, who covers the Vatican for NBC. And so great to see you. So many Cardinals have been coming here. We've been seeing them walk through St. Peter's Square. Talk to us about what's happening sort of behind the scenes. And it's interesting, some of these Cardinals have never met.
Yeah, and so this is a getting to know you period for the Cardinals. They're going to meet every day. They met today to talk about the funeral of Pope Francis. They will meet tomorrow afternoon. And then the real serious discussions about the direction of the church, the future of the church, and what they want to see will take place after the funeral. And those are the discussions where they lay out their visions for the church, listen to each other, and that starts to give the shape to who the next pope should be.
You know, behind us, there has been so much planning for this moment. Some of these traditions are hundreds of years old, including who's in charge right now, right? Because there is no pope, but there is a man in charge, and he happens to be an Irish American.
I know, and he's the Camerlengo, and that is the administrator of the Vatican between this time when we're between popes. His name is Kevin Farrell. He is a cardinal. He was born in Dublin. He came to the United States, where he spent much of his priesthood. He worked in Washington. He was Bishop of Dallas, and then Pope Francis brought him over to be director of the Department of the Laity. But he handpicked him for this moment because he believed in Kevin Farrell, and he wanted that steady hand when the church was in mourning.
So, you know, there was a very popular movie, Conclave, that came out just last year. So some people, it was fictionalized, but there was a lot of it that dealt in reality. The Cardinals are coming here. They are human. They know the rules. Is there campaigning going on behind the scenes? Are there whispers? Who's going to be the next pope?
Oh, there are lots of whispers, but it's really bad form to campaign, because there's a saying that anybody who goes into a conclave, a pope, comes out a cardinal. And I think you could see that in the movie. But a consensus will start to form. And in fact, Pope Francis, in his autobiography, talked about during these congregations, these meetings that they have, he gave a speech. It was a 3-minute speech. He said those 3 minutes changed his life.
There you go. I heard another good one on the plane over here. If somebody was wondering if there'd be an American pope, and the saying goes, the Americans have everything, why give them the papacy?
I think that's very true.
So there's no one there. And always great to have you, and great to have you here in the Vatican as well.
It's good to have you here.
Yeah. Great to be here. We're going to have much more from here at the Vatican coming up later in the broadcast, including an inside look at the frontrunners to be the next pope. But for now, I'll send it to Ellison Barber in New York with the rest of the day's news.
Tom, thank you. We want to get right to that major developing headline here at home. Elon Musk says his work with the Trump administration is winding down. The tech billionaire saying this in a call with Tesla investors, quote, starting probably next month, May, my time obligation to DOGE will drop significantly. Here's a portion of that announcement.
I think I'll continue to spend, a day or two per week on government matters for as long as the president would like me to do so, and as long as it is useful. But starting next month, I'll be allocating far more of my time to Tesla.
NBC's business and data correspondent Brian Chung joins us now with the latest. Okay, Brian, this announcement, it comes as Tesla's earnings have really plummeted. The company reported a 20% drop in car sales in Q1, quarter one of this year. Net income, they say, fell by 71%. What more can you tell us about this decision Musk has put out there to sort of wind down and step back a bit?
Yeah, well, I mean, first off, the earnings were not good at all. Obviously, this is the first earnings report that we've seen from Tesla since Elon Musk had gone off to take on these enhanced government responsibilities, namely at DOGE and the Department of Government Efficiency. But I think that what's really important here is that as we hear from Elon Musk, he's saying, look, I know that these earnings, he didn't really acknowledge that the earnings were bad per se, but he's saying that he's going to step away from some of those government responsibilities. He didn't say that he'll be leaving entirely. He did clarify that maybe for a day or two a week, he might be working on some government-related affairs. It's unclear exactly what he means by that, but he did say that he would be significantly stepping back from his responsibilities with DOGE come next month. This had been suggested by the president before, but I think this is the first time that we've heard it directly from Elon Musk himself. But of course, there is the question of can he bring back attention to a company that is in dire need of his attention? You can see the numbers right in front of you when it comes to the earnings performance. It was not looking that good. And in fact, they did cite tariff policies as a reason for some of the concern here. They said that it adversely impacts them, and they also pointed to the changing political sentiment. You do wonder about if that's going to impact demand for Teslas going forward.
Yeah, a lot to watch there. Brian Chung, thank you. We appreciate it. We have new details tonight about those highly sensitive war plans Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared in two separate group texts. The secretary denying any wrongdoing as he now faces mounting pressure from Congress, including now one Republican. NBC's Peter Alexander has the latest from the White House.
Tonight, NBC News has learned shortly before U.S. fighter jets took off to launch airstrikes against Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen last month. The head of U.S. Central Command, Army General Eric Kurilla, used a secure government system to send Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, his superior, specific details about the imminent operation, according to 3 U.S. officials with direct knowledge of the exchanges. Minutes later, the sources say Hegseth used his personal phone to send some of that information to at least 2 group chats on the messaging app Signal, one with Hegseth's wife, his brother, and his personal attorney. The material included when those fighter jets would take off and when they would hit their targets, details that in the wrong hands could put the American pilots in danger. Hegseth today denied sharing any classified information on Signal.
I look at war plans every single day. What was shared over Signal, then and now, however you characterize it, was informal, unclassified coordinations for media coordination and other things. That's what I've said from the beginning.
When asked, President Trump again this week said he remains confident in Hegseth.
Oh, totally. President Trump, why do you even ask a question like that?
Still, a prominent Republican lawmaker has now joined top Democrats condemning Hegseth's actions. Republican Congressman Don Bacon, a retired Air Force general, telling NBC News, if true, it is unacceptable, and I wouldn't tolerate it if I was responsible.
And NBC's chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander joins us now from the North Lawn. Peter, we are also learning that Secretary of State Marco Rubio, he has plans now, new plans to reorganize the State Department.
Yeah, Ellison, that's right. This is a major shakeup. Secretary Rubio said that he wants to streamline what he calls a bloated bureaucracy that could slash hundreds of positions, 132 offices at the State Department. Rubio said this is an effort to make the department more aligned with President Trump's America First agenda. Ellison?
Peter Alexander, thank you. More breaking news tonight. A verdict has been reached in the trial against Lori Vallow Daybell, the so-called doomsday mom who was representing herself. She was found guilty of conspiring with her brother to kill her former husband. The jury delivering their decision just moments ago. She is already serving a life sentence in Idaho without the possibility of parole for the murders of her 2 children and her husband's previous wife. NBC's Camila Bernal is covering it for us. Camila, this trial has drawn so much attention and has had so many twists and turns. Walk us through the case and ultimately what the jury decided tonight.
Yeah, so the jury decided actually in less than 3 hours, Ellison, and they decided that she is guilty of conspiring to kill her 4th husband, Charles. And so this case is interesting and would possibly give her another life sentence in addition to the 3 that she's already serving. for killing her 2 children and her current husband's wife, Tammy, in Idaho. This one in Arizona was different because she not only represented herself, but she also did not put forth any witnesses or any evidence. Many were expecting her to testify. She chose not to testify, and instead the prosecution put forth a very strong case where they argued that she killed her 4th husband, Charles, for 2 reasons. The prosecution saying she did it because she wanted a new husband, she wanted to marry Chad, and 2, she wanted to keep the lifestyle, she wanted the money, and she knew that her 4th husband had a life insurance policy that could benefit her. She didn't know at the time that her husband had actually changed the life insurance policy, so she did not get the money. And so it was a strong case where a lot of the witnesses that were put on the stand were also questioned, of course, by Lorie. But during this time, there were many objections, not just during the questioning of the witnesses, but also even during the closing arguments, the judge sustaining a lot of those objections. Lorie, of course, saying this was all self-defense. The jury did not agree with her clearly and found her guilty another time of another killing that prosecutors say was justified as her religious, as her saying that these people were dark and that's why she committed these crimes.
NBC's Camila Bernal, thank you. The Trump administration has announced plans to crack down on student loan borrowers. In just a few weeks, nearly 5 million Americans who have defaulted on their student loans will be forced to pay up or have the payments taken out of their pensions, tax refunds, or even their paychecks. NBC's Ryan Chandler has this report.
Tonight, millions of Americans falling behind on their student loans, bracing for their wallets to take a hit.
The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages.
The Department of Education announcing Monday it will start collecting on defaulted student loans on May 5th. For the first time since the pandemic.
There have been no repayments since March of 2020. It is not fair that other people are having to assume this burden that other taxpayers are paying for these loans.
According to the Department of Education, almost 43 million borrowers owe more than $1.6 trillion in student loans. Of those, 62% are not currently paying them back. That can be due to several reasons. Some of those borrowers are in forbearance or deferment, meaning their loans are on pause. They could be in a 6-month grace period or still in school, or they fall into a final category, delinquency or default. 5 million borrowers are in default, meaning they haven't made a payment in more than 9 months, and another 4 million are in late-stage delinquency, meaning they haven't paid in 3 to 6 months and could soon default. The White House says their bill is coming due.
We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Borrowers who remain in default may also eventually have their wages garnished, meaning employers will automatically withhold part of their paycheck to pay off the student loans.
What's your best advice to college graduates who have defaulted on their loans and know they now need to start paying again on May 5th?
Well, the first thing you should do is talk to your loan servicer or the collection agency that has contacted you to explore your options. Look into loan rehabilitation, which will restore your loans to a current status and avoid all the negative consequences of defaulting on your student loans.
Even college grads who aren't in default are feeling overwhelmed.
I felt like a weight was just sitting on my chest.
Florida nurse Samaya Camillo has over $90,000 in student loan debt, about half of that from federal loans. She says her generation is split on how to handle their debt, but so much of their future depends on paying it.
I've definitely gotten a lot of comments, people telling me to file bankruptcy, just don't pay them, or, oh, I don't pay them. And I've responded to a lot of them saying that I don't agree with that. And that's definitely something I will never do. A lot of what you need in life requires a credit score, and a good one at that.
Ryan joins us now with more. Ryan, what should people expect to see on May 5th once those mandatory collections actually kick in?
So if you are in default, the Department of Education says they're going to refer you to a federal debt collector called the Treasury Offset Program. That could immediately impact your credit score. And then later this summer, they say they're actually going to start cutting into paychecks. These are involuntary payments, things like those wage garnishments. If you have a Social Security check, that could be reduced. If you're waiting on a federal tax refund, that could just get absorbed back into the Treasury. Before all of that happens, though, the department says that over the next 2 weeks, they're going to be reaching out to those graduates who have defaulted and telling them this is happening, giving them a heads up, urging them to enroll with a debt resolution group or set up some kind of payment plan so that they can get their financial picture in the best possible shape before that May 5th deadline. Allison.
Ryan Chandler, thank you. We'll be back in just a moment with the Shannon Sharp recordings, the threats he allegedly made to a woman now suing him for sexual assault, how he's responding tonight. Back on trial, the woman accused of killing her police officer husband now back in a courtroom. Will she take the stand? And the great running of the robots. Can these humanoid robots finish a half marathon? We'll take you to the race of the future. We're back with the murder retrial of Karen Reed. It kicked off today. She is accused of striking and killing her police officer boyfriend with her car back in 2022. Today's trial comes nearly a year after a judge originally declared a mistrial, with jurors unable to reach a verdict. NBC's Laura Jarrett is following this one.
There was no collision. She's the victim of a botched and biased and corrupted investigation.
Karen Reed's defense team attempting to strike at the heart of the state's case today in her trial for the alleged murder of her former boyfriend, a Boston police officer, a case that has captured global attention.
I'm declaring a mistrial in this case.
Reed back in court today for opening statements in her retrial after a jury deadlocked last year.
It's been like living in purgatory.
Prosecutors once again charging her with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of an accident, accusing Reed of ramming her SUV into John O'Keefe after a night of heavy drinking, causing him to hit his head and die in the snow.
We are not going to try to prove that Karen Reed tried to kill John O'Keefe. We're not going to try to prove to you that she intended or wanted him dead. What we'll prove to you is she engaged in an intentional act, driving back at him at that speed in the storm.
But Reed has maintained her innocence. Her lawyers telling the jury today O'Keefe was killed at a fellow officer's home and their client was framed.
John did not have a single injury consistent with being hit by a car. No broken bones, no fractures. John O'Keefe was injured someplace warmer and he was moved. That alone is reasonable doubt.
No one else has been charged in his death, but the case has turned into a cultural sensation.
I am just obsessed with this case.
While back in court, Reed's comments in interviews since the last trial
Didn't I say could I have hit him? Or was it told to me that I said I hit him?
may complicate her defense at this one.
And Laura Jarrett joins us now on set. I mean, this is a case a lot of people watched closely last time. A lot of people may remember Karen Reed opted last time not to take the stand. Do we expect her and her legal team to make that decision this time around?
It's a really risky gamble, Ellison. And the tricky part is now she's gone on the record in multiple interviews since that trial was declared a mistrial, since that jury hung. Yeah. And all of those statements we already see today, them being used against her. And so if the jury's having questions about her affect or why she said certain things and she doesn't take the stand, do you want to leave them with that question mark? But if she does take the stand, that cross-examination is going to be brutal. And so that's why her lawyers are sort of in a trick box here.
Laura Jarrett, thank you. We are back in a moment with more from here in New York and from Tom Llamas reporting from Rome. Tom?
Ellison, thank you. When we return from the Vatican, the preparations for this secretive conclave set to begin here, and our new reporting on who the possible frontrunners are when a special edition of Top Story returns. We are back now with our special edition of Top Story live from the Vatican. You can see St. Peter's Basilica lit up behind us. Cardinals from around the world starting to gather here tonight ahead of the secretive conclave that is set to begin in a few weeks. The church's top leaders now forced to grapple with the all-important question, who will succeed Pope Francis? NBC's Molly Hunter joins me now to help us answer that question with a look at some of the frontrunners. Molly, what do we know about all these cardinals?
So the cardinals have two choices. Either choose a more liberal voice that will continue Francis's legacy or a more conservative voice. And there are leading contenders on both sides. Take a look.
Cardinals are descending on Vatican City from across the globe, pushing past the world's media, who have also descended to their first meeting. Of the 135 cardinals under the age of 80 eligible to vote in the conclave, the vast majority, 108, were appointed by Francis, including more than 20 from places that had never had a cardinal before.
This is going to be a very open process, it seems to me, in which two things are most important. One, does this man communicate a vibrant, energizing faith? And secondly, can he govern?
As the Catholic Church grows in Asia, Cardinal Luis Tagle from the Philippines is a frontrunner to be the first Asian pope. Referred to as the Pope Francis of Asia, with a heavy focus on social justice and caring for the poor. But at 67 years old, he's on the young side. Or will the church stage an Italian comeback of sorts after 3 successive outsiders in recent decades? Italian Cardinal Pietro Parolin is 70. He's an experienced Vatican official with serious name recognition. He served as Francis's Secretary of State, but he lacks pastoral experience. Another Italian, Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa, is also on the short list. At 60, he's lived for the last 3 decades in the Middle East, currently serving as the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem.
An Italian comeback?
I think right now, Molly, nationality means nothing in this. It would be very foolish to think of them as a united bloc.
Or will the Cardinals determine the church requires a conservative voice rolling back Francis's progressive agenda? Cardinal Peter Erdo, at 72, is a leading conservative from Hungary, supported among the European cardinals, and is close to Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. But it will all come down to the voting. The conclave gets underway 15 to 20 days after Francis's death. The cardinals sealed off inside the Sistine Chapel until a new pope is chosen.
And Molly joins us once again. So, Molly, we saw some of the front runners there, and we were talking with Ann about this earlier in the broadcast. I mean, they're not really supposed to campaign the Cardinals, but Cardinals are humans. They're political, as you mentioned before. Will there be a lot of talking and maybe campaigning?
There absolutely will be, and most of it will be out of the public eye. So what happens is these general congregations, these are the formal big meetings open to all the cardinals. What also happens, though, Tom, is the informal chats, the wine, the pizza, the taking a walk through the Vatican, and those kinds of conversations. That's where business really gets done. What's different this year is that most of the 135 cardinals don't know each other. So much of the next 2 weeks is going to be kind of a getting to know you process before the real business starts.
And it's been so important how you've pointed out in your reporting that most of the cardinals have been appointed by Pope Francis when we think about the direction of the Catholic Church in the future after his death. I do want to ask you, we can't really predict this, but do we have any idea how long the conclave may go? I know history's been somewhat of a gauge. It hasn't been so long, but there have been instances where it's been very long.
Very long, and I've got some numbers for you. Yeah. So the longest in recent history was in 1922. It was Pius XI, 5 days, 14 ballots. But in more recent history, both Francis and Benedict XVI, it happened in 2 days. Now, Francis, as you mentioned, has appointed 80% of the electors. And I asked our senior Vatican analyst, George Weigel, does that mean they all vote as a bloc? Is that kind of a lock? Has he stacked the decks? And George was really specific. It doesn't necessarily mean they're all going to vote together because they don't know each other. So one of the reasons the conclave may actually be extended, maybe a little bit longer, is because it's going to take them some time to work out each other, but then also work out what kind of leader they might each be.
And even Vatican watchers admit they don't even know who gets the white smoke by the end of the day. Usually the people they think will end up not winning. Okay, thank you so much, Molly. Always great to talk to you. And we'll have much more from here at the Vatican later in the broadcast, including the fact that even the Pope has his guilty pleasures. We'll take you to the man who made Pope Francis's favorite gelato. But for now, back to Ellison Barber in New York with some of the other news today.
Thanks, Tom. We're going to begin with Top Stories news feed. A wildfire in Ocean County, New Jersey, prompting mandatory evacuations. The Jones wildfire erupted this morning in a central Jersey shore town, sending huge plumes of smoke into the air. New Jersey's Forest Fire Service deploying aircrafts, dropping hundreds of gallons of water. At least 1,200 acres have burned with 0% containment. Police shutting down roadways near the fire. The cause itself is under investigation. Scary video capturing a manhole explosion, narrowly missing a woman with children in upstate New York. It happened Sunday on a sidewalk in Poughkeepsie. That's about 80 miles from New York City. Surveillance footage showing that explosion just moments after the woman and children walked by. Luckily, no one was injured. Firefighters say multiple manholes on the block had blown and high levels of carbon monoxide were detected. Right now, there is an ongoing search for a Princeton University student who went missing over the weekend. 23-year-old Lauren Blackburn was last seen on Saturday in the area of the Firestone Library on Princeton's New Jersey campus. There's now increased police presence on campus, and today crews were seen searching a nearby lake. Police are saying a missing person's phone pinged in the area of the lake, but it's not clear if that phone belonged to Blackburn. Anyone with any information is encouraged and asked to call police. An update on a story we've been following on Top Story. A toddler rescued by a dog in the Arizona wilderness reunited with his four-legged hero. Buford the dog and 2-year-old Bowden back together for the first time since their big adventure. On April 14th, Bowden wandered away from his home. Search crews looked for him for 16 hours. Then Buford, the dog, discovered Bowden sleeping under a tree and led him back to his owner's ranch. Buford being rewarded for his good deed, receiving treats and toys sent from around the globe. And now he's also an honorary member of the county's search and rescue team. Now to an update on the sexual assault allegations against NFL legend Shannon Sharpe that we told you about last night. Sharpe taking to social media, blasting his accuser and her attorney as they released new audio allegedly showing him threatening her. NBC's Jesse Kirsch spoke with one of Sharpe's lawyers moments ago and has this report.
This is a shakedown.
Facing rape and sexual assault accusations, tonight Shannon Sharpe is not backing down.
I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right.
Today, the former NFL star turned podcaster posting this video statement in response to a Nevada civil lawsuit filed by a woman who says her consensual relationship with Sharpe eventually led to multiple assaults. The lawsuit also accuses Sharpe of secretly recording their sexual encounters without her consent. The plaintiff, listed as Jane Doe, is represented by attorney Tony Busby, who has represented accusers in several high-profile sexual assault cases, and who Sharpe called out by name.
Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself.
Also new today, Jane Doe's attorney releasing an audio clip alleging it shows Sharpe threatening the plaintiff.
I'm not going to hang up on you. Here's what it is.
The plaintiff says, "Don't manipulate me." Then Sharpe allegedly responds,
"Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the out of you when I see you."
NBC News has not independently verified the audio's authenticity. It's also not clear if this excerpt was part of a longer conversation. We asked Shannon Sharpe's attorney about the recording late today.
He is acknowledging this is a recording of him, but that it's being taken out of context.
My lawyers are telling, the legal team is telling me that we can't authenticate it if he said that, and he's not denying it. This is his statement that he did not mean it. It was in the heat of the moment in the middle of an argument.
Sharpe's attorney Lanny Davis also says the Hall of Famer offered his accuser at least $10 million in mediation before the lawsuit was filed.
Shannon Sharpe's willingness to pay is not an admission of anything that he did wrong. It was a willingness to pay for the protection of his family and himself.
Despite the graphic public allegations, Sharpe was talking sports on ESPN this morning.
This is an absolute must-win. LeBron James is going to have to be the LeBron James that we know him to be.
The sports network declining to comment on the lawsuit as Shannon Sharpe offered this promise today.
And I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do.
Jesse Kirsch joins us now from Miami. Jesse, Sharpe is planning now to take legal action on his own, correct?
That's right, Ellison. Sharpe's attorney says his client's accuser is making, quote, a maliciously false claim, and Sharpe's attorney is promising a lawsuit to, quote, hold her accountable. I also asked Sharpe's attorney if the former football star would proceed with legal action if the accuser were to drop her lawsuit. And Sharpe's attorney says he does not know what Sharpe would do in that scenario, but says his recommendation would be to move forward with legal action. Ellison?
Jesse Kirsch, thank you. The executive producer of CBS News' 60 Minutes calling it quits today, resigning from the long-running Sunday news program, saying that he has lost his journalistic independence. His departure comes in the middle of President Donald Trump's $20 billion lawsuit against CBS and 60 Minutes. NBC's Chloe Melas joins us now. Chloe, what more do we know about this shakeup?
This is huge news, Ellison. I mean, this literally shook the media news world today. I mean, Bill Owens has been with 60 Minutes for over 2 decades, and his statement says that he had a baby and one on the way in the midst of when he first started his career, and he's been at CBS for about 30 years. I mean, just to put it into perspective, I mean, 60 Minutes, it's an iconic show, and they've only had 3 EPs, and Bill obviously the third. So it's going to be difficult to fill that spot. In the meantime, they do have a woman named Tanya Simon. Her father was a war correspondent on the show as the interim executive producer. But this comes amid President Donald Trump suing CBS for $20 billion because he claims that 60 Minutes falsely edited an interview with Kamala Harris ahead of the presidential election. And so, 60 Minutes has refused to apologize, standing by this, saying that they did nothing wrong. And you have Owens saying in his statement today, because we don't know exactly why he's resigning, but he says, over the past months, it has also become clear that I would not be allowed to run the show as I always have run it. What does that mean? Sherry Redstone, who's in the midst of trying to merge Paramount and CBS together with Skydance. I mean, this is a massive billion-dollar deal that is undergoing scrutiny by the FCC right now with a Trump appointee who has been very vocal against CBS's DEI practices and, really, really looking at this. And we know that things have been delayed amid President Trump's lawsuit, which they have just agreed to move into mediation. But this is messy. And to have this longtime EP step down, what does that say about this venerable news magazine program? Who's going to lead it into the future? And what exactly does this mean when he says that he couldn't do his job the way that he wanted to do it? A lot of questions there.
NBC's Chloe Melas, thank you. In California's Silicon Valley, the city of San Jose may be turning to a controversial new plan to address its homeless crisis. Democratic Mayor Matt Mahan has proposed arresting homeless people if they refuse city-provided shelter 3 times in 18 months. The city council has given its initial approval and is set to take a final vote on the issue in June. Supporters of this idea are calling it a necessary step. Others say it criminalizes homelessness. Joining us now is San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan. Mayor, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us this evening. Let's dive right in, because according to an Insider Monkey report, your city has the 4th highest homeless population in the United States. A 2023 point-in-time count done by the city found more than 6,250 people are considered unhoused, with nearly 4,500 of them living outdoors. Walk me through your plan, your proposal, and tell us why you believe it is the solution.
Well, that's right, Ellison, and it isn't just San Jose. California as a whole has become ground zero for the homelessness crisis. We are 11% of the nation's population, nearly half of our homeless population. I'm proud that San Jose is building more new, safe shelter than any other city, at least on the West Coast, if not beyond. But we have to also hold people responsible for coming indoors when we build safe and dignified shelter. Far too often we encounter folks who, largely due to addiction or mental illness, are unwilling or unable to say yes to the help that we're providing. So while we have to hold ourselves responsible for building shelter, people also have a responsibility for coming indoors when it's being provided.
How many shelter options are currently available? What do they look like? Any prerequisites for people to access those?
Well, this year we're adding more than 1,000 new shelter options. Most of them are individual rooms with a door that locks, in many cases a private bathroom. We're not talking about cots and big warehouses cramming people together. This is dignified, transitional, and interim housing, often converting old motels or using prefabricated modular units and tiny homes on government-owned land. And most people who are homeless gratefully accept these options and use use that as a jumping off point to turn their lives around. But we also run into a portion of the population that repeatedly refuses to come indoors. And usually there's a pattern. Usually it has to do with an underlying substance abuse issue. And so my proposal is that if someone's repeatedly refusing individual interim housing, we should use the justice system to get them into a drug court and give a judge the ability to mandate treatment.
You look at a couple different cities, from Los Angeles to Seattle to San Francisco, where in the past they have tried, in effect, criminalizing what some would say homelessness, right? Of saying if you don't seek shelter at some point, a sit-and-lie ordinance, you can't sleep in public, we're going to take you elsewhere. And in most of those cases, those policies haven't actually been effective in the long run in reducing homelessness. Houston, Texas is somewhere where recently a lot of people have pointed to that and said, okay, they were very successful and effective with their program. And part of why the city says they were successful is they were placing people in long-term housing without any sort of preconditions, such as sobriety or participating in treatment plans. Is that something that people would have to do in order to access this housing option for your city?
Well, Allison, to your point, I'm trying to take a middle path here in San Jose. We have neighboring cities that are outright banning camping without adding any new shelter. They are, in effect, criminalizing the state of being homeless. What I'm saying, which is akin to what Houston has done, is that as a city, and I think this is true for every city and county in California, we have a responsibility for building safe, dignified shelter and interim housing, treatment options, and when they are available, we need to hold people accountable for coming indoors. It is not humane to allow people to choose to camp. So we would not be enforcing this responsibility to shelter if you're not being offered a safe, viable option. But we have to recognize the facts, which is in California, we have 5,000 people a year die of overdoses on our streets. That's not humane or progressive.
What happens if someone does turn down shelter after 3 times and they are arrested? Are they going to be taken to jail? Are they going to be taken somewhere else? What are the next steps?
Well, currently, nothing happens, and we allow people to languish on our streets and far too often die. Under this proposal, we would charge for trespassing and use it as an opportunity to petition to get the person into a behavioral health court. Our county has very robust drug and mental health courts and long-running, very successful programs. But they only work when there's accountability for engaging in treatment. I've talked to members of the recovery community who have said that there is no recovery without accountability. In fact, some have said that it was that brief interaction with the criminal justice system that actually spurred them to get the help that they need. So that's the hope here. The goal is to hold people accountable for coming indoors and ideally engaging with treatment if that's a barrier to coming indoors.
Right. The City Council has its final vote in June. We will be watching. Mayor Matt Mahan of San Jose, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And we're back in a moment with the machine marathon. Can these robots beat humans to the finish at a half marathon? Why so many couldn't even finish at all. Plus, we'll head back to the Vatican. Tom Llamas takes us to the gelato shop that served the Pope for years. We're back now with Top Stories Global Watch. At least 26 tourists are dead after a shooting at a resort in Indian-controlled Kashmir, according to local police. Police calling this a terror attack, saying militants fighting against Indian rule are to blame. However, there has been no claim of responsibility thus far, and police are still searching for the attackers. Officers say at least 4 gunmen shot at dozens of tourists. More than 30 others were injured. On social media, President Trump posted that the United States stands strong with India. Russian President Vladimir Putin indicating he is open to ceasefire talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Putin telling a Russian state TV reporter, quote, "We need to sort this out, maybe even bilaterally." A senior U.S. official telling NBC News this week was critically important for a possible truce. Zelensky is expected to hold meetings with American and European officials in London. And Special Envoy Steve Witkoff will return to Moscow to continue talks. And meet the 88-year-old man tearing it up at a skate park in northern Spain. He says he was always a fan of skateboarding, or snowboarding rather, but he said that sport became much too expensive. So at the age of 70, he took up skateboarding. He says it is a way to exercise and change up his daily routine. For others his age who are interested in following his lead, he recommends you start slow. And a race to the future kicking off in Beijing. It's being billed as the world's first humanoid robot half marathon, featuring machine versus man racing to finish the 13.1 miles. So who won? NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer was at the finish line.
In the race to develop robots that are smarter and faster, a test of sorts, pitting 12,000 runners beside 21 humanoids along a 13-mile course billed as the world's first half marathon starring machines.
Unlike the human runners here, the robots have a choice. They can have their batteries changed or just lie down.
While many of the human counterparts stopped to take selfies, the robots trailed from the outset. Some of them barely got started. One with propellers went out of control. Others fell apart, laying bare the challenges that still confront the industry here. That more than 20 robot companies participated shows that robot tech in China is pushing forward quickly, said the team leader for the winning humanoid. Tiangong finished in 2 hours, 40 minutes after 3 battery changes and 1 fall. We met Tiangong before the race.
He's saying hello. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Yeah.
In a demonstration of what the company calls embodied intelligence that plants smarter AI into a more durable body with legs that function like human limbs over varied terrain. Next generations can look more lifelike with silicone skin, hair, and facial expressions.
What's your name?
The idea for humanoids to do jobs ranging from manufacturing and home repairs to companionship and caring for the elderly.
For a lot of people, this might be freaky. How do you get humans to accept robots as a fact of life?
We want robots to feel more real, says Wei Jiaxing, so people feel more comfortable around them. There's been a huge push behind humanoid robots in China. Videos of them dancing, performing, or doing kung fu have gone viral on social media here. China's government and state media promoting the industry as the next big thing, like the campaign behind Chinese electric vehicles. In this race, designers were urged to get creative. They screwed on sneakers and tracksuits or took off heads and fingers to minimize weight and overheating.
The CEO says it's not about winning. It's about testing the batteries, which are the core technology here.
Seeing them up close is way different than seeing them on TV, says this runner of the only half marathon where the also-rans got all the attention. At 74, these new things can open my eyes, she says. Ultimately, only 6 of the 21 competing robots survived, proving perhaps that people haven't completely lost to technology quite yet. Janice Mackey-Frayer, NBC News, Beijing.
When we come back, Tom Llamas reports from Rome. Call it DoorDash for the Vatican, the dessert shop that delivered to the Pope behind Vatican walls.
Finally tonight, on this special edition of Top Story from here at the Vatican, Pope Francis made the Vatican and Rome his home for 12 years. And even though he spent much of his time behind those Vatican walls you see behind me, like every good local here, he knew where to find the best gelato.
Near Vatican City sits a tiny shop, Edera, named for the ivy that grows on its walls. And here, the gelato is infallible.
Buonasera. Francesco. Yeah, Tom, you know me. How you doing?
For more than 100 years, Francesco Ceravolo's family has made delicious desserts, including homemade gelato and award-winning cakes. And Pope Francis, who had a sweet tooth, kept them busy.
We opened this shop in Rome with exactly the day to the election of the Pope.
Ordering everything, including custom-made desserts, some with photos, others with papal emblems.
Every cake has a sign. It depends on the period of the moment.
And like the Vatican, this family also has its own secrets, refusing to divulge any recipes.
And you don't like to show how it's done?
It's impossible. My father probably killed me. In this case, you have lemon.
But he did let us come around the counter to sample his heavenly sweets, starting with two of Pope Francis's favorites, lemon and mango gelato.
Mango from Sicily.
Yes,
Let me try this
like the
bad boy.
texture.
Oh, it's like a beautiful mango.
Francesco says the Pope kept his gelato like his life, simple, nothing too fancy. The Pope even asking Francesco to share his desserts with the poor. The request, not so humble, 300 mini cakes.
It is normal for the Pope Francesco to ask for the homeless, to ask for the last people of the world. It's normal.
The master gelato maker always took pride in what he left for the Pope, but each time they met, the Pope always left so much more for him.
You have a new impression, but the same impression. Quiet, joy, and serenity.
A little gelato and a little wisdom. That's how we leave you tonight here from the Vatican. Thank you so much for watching this special edition of Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas. Stay right there. More news on the way.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.